Of JML Financial Group comes in. He knows about a little blind spot called taxes. Social Security, your pension, your investments, all can be taxable. Look, you don't want to end up saying,
"Will I be writing huge checks to the government when I retire?"
Don't get blindsided by taxes. Make sure your retirement plan has a tax plan. With one call to JML Financial Group, 856-925-6674, or online at jmlfinancialgroup.com.
Back with you on this week's edition of The Heart of Your Money, alongside Joe Yakovich, the president and founder of JML Financial Group. Kevin McAlpin here with you. And, of course, Joe, we've covered a lot of different topics on today's show. So for our listeners out there, if any of these topics have piqued your interest, well, don't waste any time. Pick up the phone now. Give Joe and his team a call at JML Financial Group, 856-925-6674, 856-925-6674. 6674. And Joe, you know, we can't do one of these shows without talking a little bit of football here, right? It's only
just a little
it's
bit,
kind of our thing on this show, right?
Right, it does.
Now, I know you're more of a pro football guy, but do you get into the college football Saturdays at all?
Yeah, a little bit. It's Saturdays are. I got 1,000 things to do, and I try to buzz in there as a little every chance I'm doing something. It's out in the yard. I don't have a big yard, or working out, or doing something where I get a chance to stick my head in the house and look at a couple games and such.
Yeah, I was at the game of the week last weekend. It was Georgia-Tennessee in Athens, and coincidentally, College Game Day was there, and Pat McAfee has certainly been making a big-time name for himself here lately, working with ESPN, and he's now certainly an outspoken analyst on College Game Day, as well as the host of YouTube's Pat McAfee Show. And earlier this year, Joe, things turned a little personal for him as he talked about the sudden passing of his father-in-law.
Whenever something blindsides an entire family like that, obviously it can be wildly devastating. My wife is a daddy's girl. She actually has a bear tattooed on her because she calls her dad Papa Bear. She has her dad's quotes all over her. Thankfully, my wife and her mom with her dad, the last things they said to Bob, who was a great man, was, "I love you." And I think this is a nice piece of perspective and a moment to tell everybody, like, hey, tell your people you love them. You literally have no idea what's going to come. It can literally be the last time you see somebody, anytime you see them.
All right, so, Joe, we've heard this message from a number of families, and there can certainly be estate repercussions that could arise later down the road. So I ask you, what are some of the things folks can do to really help safeguard their legacy long before something unforeseen could arise?
Well, that unforeseeable situation happened to me personally. My dad and my mother. My father was working at a factory in Philadelphia, of all places, and for 35 years he was a millwright. And my mother was a stay-at-home mom, and I grew up that way my whole life, my two sisters and myself. And what unfortunately happened, as I was starting my own practice, my dad came home one day and retired, and beknownst to all of us, very short time later, within a year, he passed away. Unfortunately, he passed away. He had an opportunity with his work to pick a pension plan. He had two options. You pick this number or that number. And my dad picked the wrong number, thinking he was going to get the most amount for himself and his family. But what happened was, because it's different today, he picked the wrong one. So when he passed, my mother received no pension. So that in itself, when I started to get in the business, I had no control over that because I didn't even know what that was because I was just starting out. But I remember that like it was yesterday. And I watched my mom struggle for the probably 10 years of her life before she passed away. But remembering that, I always thought to myself, when I get in this business at full tilt, this should never happen to anyone that I come in contact with. So these are the questions I ask. Do you have a pension? Is it the right option? Do you have Social Security? Is it the right option? Because there's a lot of different options that the government throws at us and the companies that you work with. So we sit down with you deliberately to ask those type of questions. This would have never, ever happened if I was in the game and understood how pensions work. But I was too green to understand at the time. And when it happened, I watched this unfold in front of me, and it was a struggle for my mom. Not only she had to go back to work, but my two sisters had to stay there and take care of her before she passed away, unfortunately, from cancer. So I'm a big advocate of cancer, but more importantly, I am a big advocate of making sure folks understand what they own. That's why I'm really reinforcing that. You need to understand what you own and take the stress out of that. So when I'm talking to clients, no matter who they are, I'm asking those questions, and I'm see their body language has changed because I'm having this stress level decrease right in front of me to make sure that they're understanding what they own, why they picked that type of pension, why they didn't pick that type of pension, to be able to make a real observation on the best strategy for them and their family.
Well, that's something that obviously you want to get in front of. And if you are in a similar situation, pick up the phone now. Give Joe and the team at JML Financial a call. It's 856-925-6674. 856-925-6674. Online anytime at jmlfinancialgroup.com. Joe, I want to circle back to that a little bit because It's one thing to be blindsided by an unexpected death, but it's another to kind of be completely clueless on what to do after that person didn't put their wishes down on paper in the form of a will. So tell the folks out there, how lengthy and I think more importantly, how expensive can that process get to be?
It really is not that expensive. I mean, we deal with multi attorneys in our practice, and we help clients understand this. One of the first questions that I asked in my opening dialogue with folks, do you have a will? Has it been updated? Because a lot of times people go, oh, yeah, I got a will. And I asked them, when was the last time they've been updated? And they said, well, my kids were 4. I said, how old are they now? They're 45. I said, okay, it's time to change that. But again, it's that conversation. It's being responsible for them. And I take that very seriously. When I'm sitting in front of them, I'm really the responsible one that makes sure that the things that they do, only because I say this, because I'm living through it with them. So I become a partner of theirs. They become family to me to make sure whatever I have done and my mistakes that they don't have to repeat again. And that's something that I really, truly believe in. I mean, that's the soul of the soul when you're talking about people and how they're spending their money and how they don't run out of money and how they're looking at taxes differently or diversification. I can lay it out for them because of not only because I'm licensed in all these different vehicles and strategies, because I'll give you an example, Kevin. You know, if you were a farmer, for instance, and I share this information with everyone. If you were a farmer, would you prefer to pay tax on the seed or the harvest or the crop?
Probably the seeds. Feels a little simpler.
And that seems novice, but if you think about it, Kevin, that's exactly how a 401k works. You don't pay tax when you put the money in. You pay tax after it grows and it blossoms into this big monstrous number that we all see because the market's done extremely well. So these are the type of questions that I have. But the big will question is, do you have a will? Get it updated. Talk to whoever you like to talk to. If your people or our people, it does not matter whatsoever. But get all your ducks in line, so to speak. And we do that. We keep an estate planning directory that we give the clients. And what we do is, I got this idea probably 25 years ago from one of the top guys in the business, and I do this deliberately. I put it together whereby all the important people in your life, the accountant, the attorney, the property and casualty, the financial planner, the banker, the mortgage person, everything is aligned, their numbers, their contact information. So in the event, if something, God forbid, happens, they can go to that estate planning directory and see exactly who is doing what and what contact information they need to get through that estate planning directory. And we've been using it. It's really simple. We keep it part of their overall plan when we meet with them. And when at closure, that's what we give to them to make sure that they know exactly who they're talking to on all the participants in their life.
It's one thing to have that will. It's another to make sure it's updated. So obviously that's a big deal. And obviously if you're in a similar situation, well, don't waste any time. For our first 10 callers today, here's what you're going to get. You're going to get a complimentary 401k x-ray. Joe and the team at JML Financial, they're going to go over equity funds, bond funds, target date funds, show you how they're doing per fund. We can also run a 401k optimization report with no obligation. Pick up the phone today. today, give Joe and the team at JML Financial Group a buzz. That number, once again, is 856-925-6674, 856-925-6674, or you can visit them on the web anytime. It's jmlfinancialgroup.com. Joe Yakovich, we got about a minute left in this week's program, and like we do each and every week, floor is all yours for the final word, my friend.
Well, thank you, Kevin. You know, Kevin, we want to be a resource for all of you. As you hear me say, it's more important of where your wealth is located than what it earns. And we are big believers in letting our family help your family. And please don't forget to listen to us every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. and check our website at jmlfinancialgroup.com, and also check our podcast, which is called The Heart of Your Money. You can call in by dialing 856-925-6674. Thank you all for listening, and have a great weekend, everyone.
Joseph Yakovich is an investment advisor representative and registered representative with and offers securities and investment advisory services through Integrity Alliance, LLC, member SIPC. Integrity Wealth is a marketing name for Integrity Alliance, LLC. The topics discussed and opinions given are not intended to address the specific needs of any listener. JML Financial Group does not offer legal or tax advice. Listeners are encouraged to discuss their financial needs with the appropriate professional regarding your individual circumstance. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Joseph Yakovich, NPN number 1222562. Converting an employer plan account or traditional IRA to a Roth IRA is a taxable event. Increased taxable income from the Roth IRA conversion may have several consequences, including but not limited to a need for additional tax withholding or estimated tax payments, the loss of certain tax deductions and credits, and higher taxes on Social Security benefits and higher Medicare premiums. Be sure to consult with a qualified tax advisor before making any decisions regarding your IRA.
This program is paid for by JML Financial Group. All opinions or statements expressed on this program are solely those of JML Financial Group or their guests that do not reflect the views of WPHT or Odyssey. Today's program is pre-recorded.
Harry, if you watch any more of those stupid financial shows, I'm filing for divorce.
How am I going to keep up with our retirement accounts?
At JML Financial Group, we want you watching your grandkids playing soccer and sunsets in Hawaii, not the latest rumor of a market crash. Surprisingly, with proper income planning, the stock market shouldn't even be a concern. The money came in every 2 weeks while you worked. It should be the same in your retirement years. Let us show you how. Call JML Financial Group today at 856-925-6674. That's 856-925-6674. Or at jmlfinancialgroup.com. So, when your neighbor's sunbathing in the front yard,
Harry, you're an idiot. Get away from the window.
keep your eyes focused where they should be, on enjoying your retirement. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company.
As a veteran of Iraq or Afghanistan, joining IAVA.org really helps in the transition home. It's a network of OIF and OEF vets like me who've got your back here, just like we did over there. That means when you need help navigating the GI Bill, we've got your back. And when you're dealing with the transition home, we've got your back. Or when you just want someone to share stories with, we've got your back. Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America is there for you. Join our community at IAVA.org. We've got your back.
Brought to you by IAVA and the Ad Council. I'm a radio guy. Always have been. I grew up with radio and still love it today. I love talk, music, and great personalities. I used to have satellite, and I've tried internet stations, but you know what? Local radio is still my favorite. Then I found HD radio. Now I get all the stations I've always listened to, plus a lot more I never knew were there. The coolest part? I bought an HD radio for just $50, and I pay no monthly subscription fees. So if you like radio, you'll love HD radio.
More stations, no monthly fees. HD radio, a good deal more.
The following message is about Medicaid and CHIP, free or low-cost health coverage for kids and teens. Enrollment is open year-round.
Hey, voice lady, give me the mic.
Okay.
Hey, DJ, let's switch up the music. That's better. So listen up, moms and dads out there. There are these programs called Medicaid and CHIP. They offer free or low-cost health coverage for kids. Things like doctor and dentist visits, prescriptions, and shots are covered. All the stuff that keeps kids like me healthy and in charge.
So, as you can tell, a covered kid is a confident kid. And it means confident parents, too. To learn more about affordable health coverage for your family, visit healthcare.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. That's 1-877-543-7669.
Yep, you could do something big for your family today because enrollment is open year-round.
This has been a message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
And Sophia.
Do you let other people order for you at a restaurant?
He'll have the saumon lyonnaise.
No, I won't. Or pick the movie you're gonna see? She'd like a ticket to Attack on Rage Mountain.
Really?
Yeah, come on. So why would you let others make all the important decisions about how your life is going to be when you get older? I mean, is it okay with you if your kids decide where you're going to live? My kids? Are you out?
Are you kidding?
Or perfect strangers choose who'll be taking care of you?
Not gonna happen.
No, Better visit longtermcare.gov, the trusted information site that helps you find your own path forward without selling you anything. It takes you step by step through everything you need to consider about aging and all your options. Longtermcare.gov. Stay in charge by planning now or pay later.
How about a mohawk?
How about a mohawk? How about I put my foot right... Oh, hi, honey.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Barry, Sable, and Friends on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Well, good morning. You have tuned into the Barry Sable Show with friends. Yes, we are streaming live on YouTube. Join us. Call-in number is 855-839-1210. Peter, Barry Sable, and Friends has taken off and ascended. We are sitting in for Dawn this Wednesday and Friday, 10 to 12. Need I remind you?
Gosh, I'm going to have to get a cot downstairs for all the time we're spending here this week.
Yeah, well, we're here today. Obviously, we'll be here 2 times, and then we will be back on Sunday. It's nice to know that we are going to be reaching a completely different audience as well, so they'll get used to who the heck we are and what we believe in and our thoughts. It's kind of cool, and we thank Greg Stocker for that. Peter, muddying the waters. I'll say it. What do you mean by that? Well, let's take Ukraine. Almost 4 years ago, Biden saying you can't be aggressive. No bombing into Russia. Now you're leaving office and opening the floodgates to war around the world. Just ask Poland, Sweden, and Finland. They're preparing for war, and our media is worrying about Matt Gaetz spending time with an underage girl 10 years ago? Really? And how about this one, Peter? Kamala Harris is on vacation. Joe Biden is in Brazil in the Amazon, either peacock fishing or something like that for peacock fishing for bass. I mean, come on. Or looking for anacondas. None of that, Peter.
Looking for anacondas.
Something.
I'm not going to go there.
But he's not worrying about war. How about missiles facing Iran and Hamas to get our hostages back at this late date? I mean, come on. Don't you have to put some pressure and say, we have Americans there? Not only Israelis, but Americans as well? Nah, that's not important. And to stop all the aggressions in the Middle East, again, I ask you, where are the peace talks? Nah, not important again. Next, the border and deportation. Now we have blue governors saying they will not cooperate with the next administration in regards to ICE and Tom Homan's actions to deport those that are here illegally, as well as the criminals who seem to be popping up everywhere. Peter, didn't we, the Americans, vote decisively on this issue? And again, the big pushback. What's going on? I'm concerned, Peter, about our safety and with all of these unwanted illegals roaming in our country. Again, can't agree on a simple issue like boys and girls' bathrooms. Just ask Nancy Mace of South Carolina. So how in this world can we ever get back to normalcy? I don't see it. How about the economy? Nothing about that. Crickets. How about starting to reduce the inflation? You have 2 months till you leave office. How about start fracking? How about starting to get the permits in order? Something, Peter. Nothing. The American people told you what they want. Stop relieving debt. We are broke. Budget issues on the horizon in December. But you don't give a hoot. Thanks for attempting to help making our holiday special and pleasant the way it used to be. Just muddying up the waters, even worse. Thanks. By the way, don't let the door hit you on the fanny on the way out. Peter.
I thought your word was tookus. That's your favorite word.
That is my word. I can't say what I want.
Uncle Barry. Number one, it's great to be down here. It's we're starting the holiday season. That's always neat, and a little bit more anxiety this time of year, but it's also a lot more fun and a lot more festive, and you get to see your friends. Unfortunately, the world is not sharing our festiveness because while you're on vacation and Joe Biden's fighting the sand in Rehoboth Beach,
yep.
We're talking about a war that's right on our doorstep, and nobody seems to be interested in that or pay any attention to it. What in the world would he be firing intercontinental ballistic missiles into Russia at this late stage for? Give the new administration a chance to do their thing.
Muddying up the waters, my friend. By the way, it was nice to see that our friend Dave McCormick landed on his feet, that Casey finally resigned to the fact that he lost this election. That was good stuff. I think that's in a very important Senate seat. I know you agree. Am I right?
Well,
Peter?
listen, that seat is huge, and I'll tell you why. Now you got 53. So now I don't have to listen to Murkowski. I don't have to listen to Collins. Stay home for the votes. We already know you're Democrats, and you're going to vote with them. That's fine. I don't even know why you call yourself Republicans. But now with 53, you can even get this Kramer guy who I never heard of in Utah. All of a sudden, he's in charge of something. He didn't win any election. But now we can get down to the brass tacks, get our nominees in. I'm tired of hearing this guy's no good. They're going to Murkowski. They're going to Collins. Who the heck are they? What did they get elected to? They didn't get elected to president. And now they're going to pick his cabinet? I don't think so.
Yeah. Peter, let's talk quickly about some of these nominees. I know you know a whole lot more about that than me. Why don't you kind of sound off a little bit?
The thing that bugs me about the nominees is how come all the Republican nominees are always controversial, right? They're always controversial. Hegsteth, controversial. Gabbard, controversial. How come Rachel Levin wasn't controversial? How come Bernie Sanders isn't controversial?
Yep.
How come Mayor Pete isn't controversial? What did he know about transportation? Zippo. But that wasn't controversial.
No.
But when they talk about guys like Kash Patel, all of a sudden he's controversial because he's a patriot. So I got to listen to Andrew McCabe, the disgraced FBI deputy director who lied under oath to the inspector general, tell me that Kash Patel shouldn't be in that position. Well, I got news for you. Kash Patel never lied to anybody under oath. And I'm going to listen to you about that? I don't think so.
Well, let me ask you, you talk about Rachel Levin, Mayorkas Garland, Austin, James Sullivan, Anthony Blinken. I mean, help me out and explain to me over the last 4 years, what are the positives that you take from these people? What did they really do to effectuate and help the American public advance the ball down the field? I can't think of anything, Peter.
I mean, and again, they talk about Gates is a child molester, and Hegseth is a molester. Gabbard is a Russian agent. RFK wants to eliminate vaccines. Dr. Oz is unqualified. Pam Bondi. Can you name one Republican AG who has not been attacked by the press?
Yeah.
Even Bill Barr, who they said was Trump's puppet, who turned out to hate Trump, threw him right under the bus. Bill Barr couldn't find any fraud in the 2020 election. I guess he didn't.
He wasn't looking. It was called hide
2,000 Mules, I guess, right?
That's
Among
right.
a bunch of other stuff. But he said it was the cleanest election anyway.
Yep.
They ought to wake him up off the couch and say, hey, Bill, where's those 15 million votes that were cast in 20? What happened to those?
Yeah.
Those people all die? I mean, that was ridiculous. But getting into them, look at the comparisons. Look at the comparisons.
Tell me.
Levin, in charge of children's mental health.
Well, tell us who that
this
was.
This person doesn't even know if she's a girl or a boy or an it, what it is.
Yep.
Right? Rachel Levin, the girl she was the Surgeon General in Pennsylvania, and then in their cabinet.
Yep.
Mayorkas, he lied for 4 years regarding the border. 15 million illegals later. How about Austin, Afghanistan? Need I say more?
Yeah.
Afghanistan.
Didn't
Disgrace.
he come out, actually, Peter, and
They
say...
said it was a success.
Yeah, of course. But didn't he actually come out and say at some time that he advised Biden differently not to aggressively leave the way he did?
Well, then he should have resigned.
Of course.
If he knew people were going to get killed, then that order was a bad order.
Terrible.
Do what MacArthur did. Step down. Have some integrity. He didn't step down. He disappeared for 2 weeks. Remember? Nobody knew where he was at. How about Blinken, that perfidious and not to be trusted, as he funds Israel's enemies and then tells us Israel has a right to defend himself. So wait a minute. I'm giving money to Hamas. I'm giving money to Hezbollah. I'm giving money to PLO. And then I'm giving money to Israel so they can all fight each other with the money we give them. Who does that?
No, well, I don't know.
Listen, can this new team be any worse than that team?
Well, of course, I hope they're a lot better. But when we see that the upcoming year is coming to an end, is there anything at all positive that you feel comfortable in saying that this administration accomplished and that his head, meaning Joe Biden's head, should be on Mount Rushmore like Nancy Pelosi
I mean,
said?
it's been a total disaster, Uncle Barry.
Yeah.
Look at FEMA. I didn't even mention them.
No.
Right?
Well, let's talk about that a minute.
Look at the Secret Service. These are total disasters.
Mm-hmm.
I'm counting the days until how much more damage can they do before they leave? Apparently, they can do quite a bit. They're relieving debt all over the place.
Yep.
This is one heck of a mess.
Well, listen, we talked about, and I did in the monologue, muddying up the waters. As you know, we take in about $4.7 trillion and roughly spend $7 trillion a year. That means we're in a deficit every year. How long do you think you could possibly go on? I guess, like you say, if you keep printing money and you don't run out of ink, what's the difference? Who really cares?
Yeah, somebody should tell Venezuela you can print your way to prosperity. I don't think that's the way it works economically.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, you have to blame both parties. The Republicans have been. Mitch McConnell's been there for what, 30 years?
Yeah.
And we got $35 trillion in debt. He can't absolve himself of that. So I blame the Republicans more than I blame the Democrats. You know what the Democrats are going to do. And it's one of the reasons that I was not enamored by the Matt Gaetz pick. He's the one that blew up Kevin McCarthy as Speaker and stuck us with Pelosi's spending budgets the last 2 years, even though we were in the majority.
Yep. Listen, Peter, it looks like we're up against the break. You have been listening to the Barry Sable Show with Friends, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. We will see you on the other side.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
Woohoo! Another girls' night out. I'm so stressed from shopping, I couldn't find anything. Have you tried shopping jewelry television, JTV? I don't know. Everyone in my family is so different. JTV has thousands of jewelry styles, artisan, diamonds, pearls, colored gemstones, watches, even gift sets. I shop on TV and online.
New JTV customers save up to $40 when you shop jtv.com/radio.
Now, can you relax? Yes. Another round? Yes.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. The NFL continues on, and there's no better place to get in on the action than on FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, America's #1 sportsbook. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. You can build a quick same-game parlay for your favorite team coming up this Sunday. Anytime touchdown for any player. Over rushing yards, under, over passing yards. It's all there, or even who scores first. Just visit FanDuel.com/Dom, D-O-M, to make every moment more this season. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. You have to be 21 plus and present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER.
In a world filled with financial information, Citizens can help you make sense of it. So whether you're signing up or hitting snooze on some financial newsletters, scrolling through your socials that all seem to be saying the same thing, or getting together with your neighbors at a cookout to game plan college funds, you're ready to make the most of it. Make sense of your money with Citizens. Learn more at citizensbank.com/made-ready.
Tune into a special edition of Your Radio Doctor with Dr. Marianne Ritchie this Saturday morning at 8. Get the latest information on news affecting your health and wellness. Your Radio Doctor at a special time this Saturday, November 30th at 8 a.m. Don't miss the Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
We know you're uncertain about psychics. Is this fortune teller you found on a forum legit?
Your one true love is...
me! That's why California Psychics reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us. We guarantee, if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. New customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Get into the holiday spirit and listen to Philly's official Christmas station, B101, for all the sounds of the season, from Mariah to the holiday classics.
It's the most wonderful.
Plus, keep rocking around the Christmas tree no matter where you are with B101 on the free Odyssey app. Turning your home into a winter wonderland? Ask your smart speaker to play B101 Philly. Enjoy the holiday season your way on the radio, on your smart speaker, and on the free Odyssey app.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Yes, indeedy, we are back. You are listening to the Barry Sable Show with friends. Sitting in studio with me, my rock, my steady Eddie, Peter Mimo. Peter, you on break, you wanted to get back and comment to me on the handing of the baton from one administration to another. Why don't you continue your thoughts there?
Yeah, Trump sat in the White House with Biden. He said, it's going to be a smooth transition. Is it? There's a bunch of people rushing the border right now. We got 300,000 migrant kids that are missing. You're firing ballistic missiles into Russia. They're lowering their threshold for the use of nuclear weapons, and that's going to be a smooth transition while Jamie Raskin and his crew in the House are mounting a defense against you getting certified as president, and already the media and even Republicans in the Senate are questioning your cabinet picks. That doesn't sound like a smooth transition to me. I don't know about you.
No, but let me ask you a question then, and I touched on it with you in the first quarter. These two guys, Biden and Harris, they're on vacation. They're out to lunch. Can you tell me, honestly, who's minding the store? Who's in charge of watching what's going on? Isn't it customary, like if one person went on vacation, the other one would be home steering the ship? I don't understand what's happening. If that be the case, they should just tell Trump, listen, these are your issues. Go. In 60 days, you're going to be handling these things anyway. Get started. I want to know who is calling the shots, Peter.
Yeah, well, how come the media is not asking that question? Isn't the media supposed to be protecting the American people? Isn't that the whole idea of the First Amendment and freedom of the press?
You would think so.
Isn't it their job to identify these weaknesses so the American people can be knowledgeable about these things? My big concern now is Iran, China, Russia, North Korea, all on the move. Our focus remains Trump, his cabinet picks. World War III, who cares about that? Nobody cares. Can America defend itself? That's boring stuff, like you said before. The media don't report about that. To me, it's a global failure by the U.S. and its allies. To be perfectly honest with you, not talking about World War III. The United States faces the most serious and challenging threats that we have since 1940.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. A real risk of near-term major war, thanks to this administration and their appeasement.
Peter, it appears to me, from what I understand, China has more military and arms than the United States currently. I guess that includes battleships. I mean, this is the first time in history, Peter.
Yep.
I think you have to be concerned about that, don't you?
There's a lot of people that think that we're not prepared for war because we've given most of our weapons to Ukraine, missiles and artillery shells, things like that. So, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's appalling, the general indifference of the quote-unquote free press.
Yeah, and how about Rocket Man made a statement the other day, something like he could care less about Donald Trump and what Donald Trump says. That's something new. 4 years ago, you didn't hear that kind of rhetoric. Now you hear it. I mean, these guys have an upward battle, Peter.
They do have an upward battle, and there's no uproar in the media. There's no storm on social media. There's no 60-minute specials. We better wake up. We really better wake up. This all threatens the fragility of peace and the way we live here in this country. People don't realize that. During World War II, they were rationing gas. They were rationing sugar. A World War III will upset the way we live here in the United States.
Well,
there's no doubt about it.
Of course. You are supplying, I guess, most of the arms to Ukraine. Why isn't Russia pissed? I mean, all this could have been avoided, Peter, from the little bit that I understand. I mean, come on. Did we really have to put missiles into Poland? Why couldn't we have struck a deal? You're going to send Kamala Harris over there before that war began, and now $150 billion later, you want to talk about escalating the war with no sight at the end? There's no light at the end of the tunnel. Peter, from a simpleton, none of this makes any sense to me. Break it down for me.
Well, I'm not a Putin lover, and obviously Russia is an adversary. But we've done so much to provoke them in the European theater, going all the way back to the 90s when we made the deal to protect Ukraine when they gave up their nuclear weapons. Part of that deal was that NATO would not expand eastern, and also that we wouldn't put any missiles in Poland. Well, we've added like 12 countries to NATO right on Russia's border, and we have missiles in Poland. We've done everything against what we told Russia we would do. Now, if somebody put missiles on your border, I'm not saying that you would invade, but it surely would get your attention. And I think it could have been handled a lot better diplomatically.
Yeah,
I mean, our foreign policy, with these nitwits we have in Washington, it leaves a lot to be desired.
Of course. Peter, I want to switch gears on you to deportation because that's what you hear in the media all the time now, and you see this resistance and this pushback. For me, it's kind of simple. If you don't have a green card and if you don't have citizenship, I think, in my mind, you have 60 days to report. There has to be some kind of agency set up. You report, and at that time, people have to start deciding who's going to stay and who's going to go. I know it's going to be a difficult time, but frankly, you have to have some kind of organized thought process in doing that. You just can't have anarchy. I mean, you're just looking for the bad guys. Maybe that's so, but I don't know, Peter. That to me is the only logical answer. Do you have a solution?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Give everybody that's here, give them X amount of days to report themselves to naturalization. And, we'll begin a real vetting process to find out if these guys are good guys or bad guys. If you're a bad guy, you got to go. I'm sorry. That's just the way it works. If you're a good guy, you'll get on a list. We'll see how it works. You'll get in the back of the line, and maybe someday you'll become an American citizen, but not in the near term, that's for sure. Because if you start giving amnesty to these people and making them citizens, you're only going to get more people. So you have to put your foot down somewhere.
Yeah.
And hopefully this administration knows that.
Yeah, I just want to circle back. Is there any, because I was thinking just now, is there anybody that you haven't seen that Trump has picked for any offices going forward? Is there anybody? I know our friend Chad Wolf, who I met at the border. I don't think he's been nominated for anything or asked to be in any position in the government right now. Is there anybody that you think has been missed that you think this country surely could benefit from?
Yeah, I was hoping that, full disclosure, I was really hoping we had a primary in the Republican Party. Nikki Haley, whether you like her or not like her, won 20% pretty much across the board, and I think she earned a spot in Trump's cabinet. Now, Trump is vindictive, and he said he's not putting her in. I would have also liked to see
He made that statement? I didn't hear that statement.
Yeah, Haley's out. The same thing with Mike Pompeo. I think Mike Pompeo is I like guys that are number one in their class, go to West Point, serve in the Army.
Why do you think Pompeo, Pete?
I don't know.
I thought he was loyal.
Yeah, me too. I don't know. So you say, would I like to see other people? Absolutely, I would like to see other people. But, Trump is, he has precociousness. He's not going to do everything that, we love him, his policies, all that. Happy one. But he comes up with some harebrained schemes sometimes, right? Remember he had Scaramucci as the press secretary for about 10 minutes?
Yep.
He was hired and he was fired in the same day.
Mm-hmm.
How's that possible, right?
Yeah.
And now he picks Matt Gaetz, the guy that blew up Congress. So right away you knew you're going to be fighting upstream. You got to outsmart them like you did with Bondi. How can they? The lady's been an AG in Florida.
Yep.
She's prosecuted
like
cases in the courtroom.
Yep.
I mean, she's got a sterling resume. Everybody complains that she's a loyalist. Well, wait a second. If I'm the president, that's what I want around me, all loyalists, people that are loyal to my agenda. By the way, the agenda the American people voted for.
Yep.
Okay?
Well, in summary, I got to tell you the truth, Peter. I trust Donald Trump. This go around, I think he knows what he wants. I think he's conversed with people. I think he's going to get what he wants, and that's that. Listen, Peter, we're up against the break. When we come back, we have Seth Grossman, believe it or not, from Buenos Aires.
Wow,
That's
international call?
Yeah, international
Jeez.
from Argentina has to report to us what's going on down there. You have been listening to the Barry Sable Show with friends, 1210 WPHT. We will see you shortly.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Most of us don't fit in the clothes we wore 30 years ago. And financial advice from 30 years ago doesn't fit either. Tune in to the Retirement Spectrum with Alan Cohen. Saturdays at 3 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Nothing delivers comfort and joy quite like the unrivaled quality and taste of Omaha Steaks. This year, skip the holiday hustle and bustle and save 50% off gourmet gifts site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, get a $30 reward card when you shop early and score an extra $30 off with promo code NICK. With 5 generations of experience, they consistently deliver the world's best steak experience. And the gifting experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to deliver the perfect gift with thoughtfully curated gift packages starting at $89.99. From legendary steaks to mouth-watering desserts and more. Save 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $30 off with promo code NICK and a $30 reward card when you shop early. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $30 off with promo code NICK. Minimum purchase may apply.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 1039 FM.
It's the main event, the Philadelphia Marathon, dashing down 26.2 miles of city streets. Poorer nations say they're being short-sheeted in terms of climate aid from richer nations. A Philadelphia City Council member wants the city to protect its vulnerable communities she sees threatened by President-elect Trump's rhetoric.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-511-3535. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-511-3535. 800-511-3535 or biglou.com.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Yes, indeedy, we are back. You are listening to the Barry Sable Show with friends, sitting in studio with me, Peter Mimo. Peter, looky what we have. Seth Grossman calling from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Liberty and prosperity. Voice of the down the shore, Peter, as you know.
That's a good website.
It is a good website, and who I call a walking encyclopedia. Seth, good morning.
Good morning, and I think I hear you more clearly here in Buenos Aires, Argentina, than I do when I'm in Atlantic City.
Yeah, welcome to Atlantic City.
That's funny.
So,
what are you doing down there, Seth?
Free shout out to Verizon.
There you go. What are you doing in Argentina, my friend?
Well, I don't know if you saw the movie back in the 1980s called Reds with Warren Beatty and Diane Keaton.
Of course.
And it was about the Russian Revolution when all the leftists, the socialists, and the communists thought that Russia was going to bring in a new age, and progressives from around the world came to Moscow to see what was happening in Moscow. Well, a lot of conservatives are having that same excitement here in what's happening with Argentina with their new president, Javier Milei, who was elected last year. Now, to give you an idea of what's going on here, 1 year ago, Argentina had an inflation rate of 355% a year.
Wow.
And to give you an idea of what that does, and by the way, they have their Argentine peso, and they use the dollar sign for the Argentine peso because at one time the Argentine peso was worth about as much as a dollar. So just to give you an idea, I had lunch, a great lunch for basically it said $40,000. 40,000 pesos because there are now 1,000 pesos to the dollar. And they have a joke here. They say, how do you say wallet in Argentina? And the answer is rubber band, because you have you have 2,000 peso bills, and to have $200 in your wallet, you need 100 bills, and of course they can't fit in your wallet, so you have to walk around with a rubber band.
Yeah, that's funny.
With all this currency.
Seth, I have a question. Go ahead.
Sure.
Now let me just ask a question. It's been back a few years when I was in Florida. I met a young lady that was a waitress, and she had a legal degree, and she had lived in Argentina, and she migrated to the United States because she couldn't make a living down there. And she went on to tell me, my God, there was so much poverty there. People were eating out of garbage cans and everything else like that. With an inflation of 355%, do you see poverty, or has that kind of turned around and that cycle is finished?
Well, you still see they call them the box people, or in Spanish, the cartoneros. Rummaging through the dumpsters to eat. But the people here say they've been here for years, and you actually see fewer of them now than you did last year. So basically, it's a joke because if you see dinner is $35,000, your mind quickly is accustomed to say just knock off the 3 zeros, and it's $35, which is a very reasonable dinner, and there's plenty of steak, there's plenty of stuff here. So there's poverty, but there's less of it now than there was a year ago. And the reason for that is this new president, Javier Milei.
Yeah.
No one expected him to win. He was like a Donald Trump outsider figure. All the newspapers, everybody hated him. He would campaign with a chainsaw, a motosierra, as they call it here, promising that if he got elected, he was going to cut the budget, he was going to cut half the federal government. And unlike most politicians, he actually kept his promise. So a year ago, he abolished half of the federal departments, fired thousands of employees. He froze all government spending, no increases for Social Security, no increases for government employees, no increases for the universities. You had hundreds of thousands of people have been demonstrating in the streets every week against him. But during the past year, he brought the inflation down from 350% a year. It's been reduced every month. Last month, it was down to basically 2% a year. So it's down to 24% a year. It's probably going to be zero in a couple of months. So that's happening. They had the same huge deficits. The deficits are gone. He's balanced the budget in every month since he's taken office. So he's turning things around. Now, his Congress is up for election next year. So the real question is, the left, the socialists are saying it's hardship. He's hurting the poor people. He's only helping the rich people, all the stuff the Democrats say. So it's going to be a very, very significant election if he turns things around.
Hey, Seth, let me ask you a question, and I hope you have a safe trip coming back and really enjoy your vacation. It's nice to hear from you, and you always have smart things to say, and I enjoy that. I've heard that he's cut like 70% of the teachers. In his first 10 months, he's cut 31% out of the budget. This is a good model for us to look at because, with the Doge and the Elon Musk and all that, they claim they're going to be doing these kind of cuts as well. In the long run, do the people have the stomach, the intestinal fortitude to absorb these cuts and to get back on track? Because when people are used to getting free stuff, it's very difficult to take it away.
Well, that's tough to say from here, but I make a point. Whenever I go to a store, whenever I go to a restaurant, whenever I go in a taxi cab, I'll ask the person I bump into, what do you think of your new president? Are things better today than they are a year ago? And right now it's dicey. It's about 50-50. Half say, some are enthusiastic. Oh, it's fantastic. We could breathe free again. There's so much opportunity. Others say, no, my expenses have gone up, but my income did not go up. He's a disaster. So it's going to be it's almost going to be a blue state, red state thing next year, and it's going to affect the whole world because a lot of people I'm talking to have been saying. And by the way, another theme of that Warren Beatty movie Reds was back in 1920. That's when the alliance between the communists and the radical Islamists began. And I don't want to be a spoiler, but anyone who could get that movie, 1980 Reds, it's a powerful movie. And the reason most people never heard of it is because it made communists, that painted them in a bad light. So you can't do that. You get canceled. And basically Warren Beatty's awful movies like Bulwark, you could still see publicity for them, but probably one of the greatest movies made in this century, Reds by Warren Beatty, it's been completely, canceled.
Yeah, overlooked
because it puts communists in a bad light. But people around here who I talk to are saying that the whole world is going in the wrong direction.
Well, Seth,
with this alliance between and I just want to give you just a real quick thing.
No, but hold on. I just want to ask you two questions, and I'll let you go on because you did text me, and you text me and you said, "Hope how the U.S., Israel, Argentina, and India can save world from collapse." I want to ask you about that. And for a lot of people that travel, hold on one second. Argentina used to be a great destination to travel to. Is it safe? And would you advise people that travel to Latin countries to go there?
Absolutely. Let me just talk about this hope for the world. as I point out, that communist Islamic alliance is really poisoning the world. It overthrew the Shah of Iran. That communist Islamic alliance created the Palestinians in Gaza, the Hamas and the PLO, and all that horrible stuff. They've taken over Europe. They've taken over our college campuses. And there are only 4 countries that are fighting back against that. United States with Trump, Israel with Netanyahu, Argentina with Javier Milei, and India with Modi, where the Hindus, the Christians, the Jews are fighting back against this communist, we call it a Wahhabi Salafi.
Do you see
Islamic
other
alliance.
countries? Do you see other countries joining in, or what's going to happen there? As you know, Europe, there's a few countries that are trying, I think, to deport people there that don't belong. And we'll talk about, say, the Muslim world. Do you find that to be the case?
Yeah. Well, here's what seems to be happening. The whole world is looking at the 4 of us. Yeah. They're looking at the United States, Israel, Argentina, and India. And if we win, if we succeed, the whole world is going to change in a much better direction. But if we fail, if we get torn apart, if we're divided, then we're going to be overwhelmed.
Well, you know you're going to be divided, Seth. You see the pushback now. Answer, though, my question. Do you feel it's safe for people to travel to Argentina? Because people that went to Argentina absolutely adored it there.
I absolutely did. And I just saw it's probably one of the best tango performances. It's called the Mansion Tango. So for $34, you got a Broadway show production that would basically be $200 on Broadway. Plus, they give you a glass of wine. And it's absolutely fantastic. But there's some dicey neighborhoods. My brother, the musician, wandered off in a dicey neighborhood where he probably shouldn't have gone, and he did have a problem. But
what
if you
kind of
stay
problem did he
in the
have?
tourist areas, you stay in the downtown.
What kind of problem did he have, Seth?
Hey, Seth, I'd like to get into
Yes.
the meat and potatoes for a second. Right now in Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu is being harassed by the Supreme Court. He's under criminal charges, and he's going to be forced to testify. They want to get him out before January 20th, before Trump gets in. How serious is that? And when Trump gets in, do you honestly believe that we will make a move to destroy, either topple Iran's regime or, in the very least, take out their nuclear capabilities?
Well, that's hard to say because, when you have someone like Trump, he says the right stuff. But what has to happen next is when you do the right stuff, it's often very unpopular. Is Trump, now that during his first term, Trump promised tough stuff. Publicity got bad. He backed away from it.
Yep.
Trump also had people who backed away from it in his first term. In fact, a lot of people are making a comparison. You had another conservative in Argentina about 4 years ago called Macri. And Macri promised some stuff, didn't deliver. Now you have Javier Milei, and a lot of people here are joking. They say Macri, the previous conservative in Argentina, was the Trump first term, and Javier Milei is Trump's second term. So the key is the people that he is appointing, are they willing to withstand? Remember when Reagan in 1980, how unpopular it was?
Media
and
killed him.
The theme that the media killed him, but what was Reagan's response? It was stay the course.
Yep.
Stay the course. And even though he lost some seats in Congress, he stayed the course. And then 3 years later, we had the best boom and the resurgence of America that we ever had.
49
so
states
the question is,
Seth, listen,
right,
I'm up
exactly,
against the break.
But
Go ahead. Let me let you finish your thought quickly.
All right. So the key, I just have to finish this with this little news source. So Pope Francis, or news story, and I don't know if this made it in Philadelphia, but as you know, Pope Francis is from Argentina.
There you
and
go.
In Argentina, he was a socialist, left-wing Peronista. And as Pope, he's been pro-socialist, anti-America, pro-Muslim, anti-Israel. Guess what the headline news coming from the Vatican in all the Argentine papers was? Last Friday, Pope Francis announced that he had unsustainable budget deficits and that the Vatican is unable to pay its debts, including the pensions for its 4,600 employees and 1,200 retirees. And to meet the crisis, on Friday, Pope Francis announced he was appointing Cardinal Kevin Farrell of the United States to fix the economic nut.
I would love to talk. I'd love to talk to you all day. I am up against the break, and Lou, what happened to your brother, and I don't know what it is. Take your money and stick it in your sock. Take it out of your pockets. We will talk to you when you get back.
Well, yeah, I can't because you have 200 paper 10,000 peso notes. I don't know what to do with them.
Well, split
anyway,
them
have
up.
a great week. Thank you so much.
Listen, thanks for calling in. You are
Happy
listening to the Barry
Thanksgiving.
Sable Show with Friends, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. We will see you on the other side of the break.
Do you have shoeboxes full of old videotapes and photos with memories you'd love to share with the family this Christmas? Right now, get exclusive early access to Legacy Box's biggest deal of the year. Digitize your memories for just $9 per tape. That's right, only $9 to preserve and share your precious moments. VHS, VHS-C, Hi-8, film reels, and more, saving you over $15 per item. Not to mention, when you digitize your memories now, Legacy Box sends all your memories back on the cloud, so they're easy to access by Christmas, and you can relive them with your family just in time for the holidays. You've heard about Legacy Box all year, but now is the best time to digitize your memories. Hurry, this $9 deal won't last long. Head to legacybox.com/value for early access to our best deal of the year. Don't wait. Secure your digitized memories by Christmas at legacybox.com/value.
Hey, it's Greg with Kale & Company. Sundays are my favorite day of the week for many reasons, but of course it's because of the NFL, and there's no better place to bet on the NFL than FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, because it's America's #1 sportsbook. You can get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. There's a ton of same-game parlays that you can bet on for this Sunday's matchup. You can do an anytime touchdown or an over on the rushing yards. How about an over on the passing yards? You can take player props, a single player. You can do alternate spreads. There's so much to choose from. It's all right there. Just go to FanDuel.com/Greg, FanDuel.com/Greg to sign up right now. Make every moment more this season. FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL and the official partner of 1210 WPHT. So you know you're in good hands. 21 and over, present in PA. First online, real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Don't miss a special edition of the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause, brought to you by the Labor and Energy Alliance, this Saturday, November 30th at noon. Find out about the important issues that'll affect you. The Labor and Energy Show at a special time, this Saturday at noon.
In a world filled with financial information, Citizens can help you make sense of it. So whether you're listening to that new financial podcast that's hotter than your morning coffee, flipping through that financial guru's 1,000-page book on simple finances, or getting tips from a coworker that actually sound kind of interesting, you're ready to make the most of it. Make sense of your money with Citizens. Learn more at citizensbank.com/made-ready.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
First time seeing my son, I feel like my life did a 180. He really a definition of like why he loves somebody.
Through all of fatherhood's first, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Woohoo! Another girls' night out. I'm so stressed from shopping, I couldn't find anything.
Have you tried shopping jewelry television, JTV?
I don't know. Everyone in my family is so different.
JTV has thousands of jewelry styles, artisan, diamonds, pearls, colored gemstones, watches, even gift sets. I shop on TV and online.
New JTV customers save up to $40 when you shop jtv.com/radio.
Now, can you relax?
Yes. Another round?
Yes.
Hey, Ambler. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Follow us anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
Yes, we are back. Of course, you are listening to the Barry Sable Show with friends on this chilly Sunday. Peter, I know you want to circle back to my monologue, but I want to ask you a few quick questions We'll call it rapid fire. Trump wants to do something with the Department of the Education. He hasn't been satisfied with that. Can you quickly just give me a quick response to that, please?
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Department of Education was put in by Congress and can only go out by Congress. Now, can he fire everybody there or lay them off? I guess he can, but that's going to be I think it's going to be a tough sell for him to get that done.
FEMA, North Carolina, Peter, what a disappointment. Those people are struggling down there. I know that our buddy Steve DiOrio is planning on either getting there or sending relief down. What are your thoughts on the disappointment?
My thoughts on that are it may have cost him North Carolina. On the same day that the perfidious State Department, Tony Blinken, our Secretary of State, announced $157 million for Lebanon, or Hezbollah, if you will. The people in North Carolina got $750 each. They lost their houses. They lost everything. Where do you go from that? We were talking about that the other day. The poor guy lost his house. He's got to pay his mortgage for a house that's downstream. I mean, this is just, that was a really bad optics for them. And again, it highlights, what are we doing with our money? Why aren't we taking care of the people here that need it? Not the people in Lebanon.
Well, of course. Listen, Peter, I read something the other day, hacking the government of the Congress, the cyber front. Did you know about anything like that? There was some kind of hack on Congress,
These
wasn't
things,
there?
the biggest hack in the history of our country from China. And do you think the media reports it? Of course not. The media doesn't report these things. Unlike the Patriot press, the media is hostile to the founding American principles, traditions, and institutions. That's what we're up against.
Peter, Trump wants foreign students that are here to stay here. For those especially that are qualified to do certain jobs. In the past, we sent these students back home to their own countries. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah,
Peter?
I want the best and the brightest to stay here. Why wouldn't I? I don't want the people that, quote unquote, pick fruit. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but if I'm interviewing for job opening at my business, I'm taking the best guy I can get. That doesn't necessarily mean the smartest. It means the most well-rounded, the most knowledgeable, personality, how they keep themselves, right? How they dress, how their personal appearance is, and their intelligence and their ability to do the job. That should be the thing. Merit, not, just bring people from all over the world.
Peter, North Korea sending troops to Russia? Oh, my God. Where are we now with that?
Why are we escalating a war in Ukraine when you got a new administration coming in 60 days? Give them a chance. You failed miserably. Now, give them a chance to do what they need to do.
I know you want to circle back to my monologue. We only have roughly 5 minutes. Why don't I give you a chance to do that?
Well, you call it muddy in the waters. Yep. I call it a resistance movement. The Democrats still don't get it. And I hope they continue this blind rage. To be honest, they must be in shock. And remember what Mike Tyson so eloquently stated when he was boxing. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the nose.
Of course.
Well, guess what? The Democrats got KO'd. They got punched in the nose in a big way.
Peter, this past week in the Bragg case, what's Judge Marchand? Is that how you say his name? I guess they want to postpone the I guess sentencing until after Trump is out of office. I mean, my God, I know there's going to be a pushback with that on Trump's attorneys. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't want to get too far in the weeds with you guys, but it's in the Constitution. What they have is a supremacy clause, which part of that supremacy clause is the president cannot be encumbered in any way by any legal proceedings. So what do I mean by that? If you're in Utah or Alabama and you voted for the president and you need his agenda going, you can't have a local DA and a state judge interfere with how the country's being run. Yeah. It's called the supremacy clause. Number two, the Supreme Court immunity ruling. That whole case should be thrown out now because a big part of their case, matter of fact, they use it in their closing arguments, was the Hope Hicks testimony, which is now the jury should have never heard it. Trump had immunity from that. His private people can't talk that way. And number three, the DOJ has a memo in the Department of Justice, 1973, and again reinforced in 2000, charges or deferring charges would damage the ability of the executive branch to function. DOJ is very clear on this through multiple administrations. So there's three great reasons
Of
now.
course.
So that should go away, and it will go away.
You cannot govern the United States of America and make right decisions, especially in New York. If he makes a wrong decision, then they're going to compound on that. Listen, we only have a few
and they
minutes.
want this thing to hold for 4 years until he
Yeah,
gets done president.
I never
Now,
heard
you
of it.
mention evil all the time.
All the time.
You know how evil that is?
Mm-hmm.
We know there's 50 reasons that this case can be overturned. It should have never been brought. But by him not sentencing Trump, Trump can't appeal it and clear his name.
Peter, the world is not just politics. The Philadelphia 76ers and the Philadelphia Eagles. We only have a few minutes left. Give me your thoughts on them, please.
I like the way the Eagles are playing. They're playing good. The Sixers are a mess. The Sixers are in deep trouble from the top to the bottom. I hope they get to Chinatown as fast as possible because in South Philly, they stink.
Yeah.
Maybe that Chinese food will bring them back, Uncle Barry.
Listen, Peter Mimo, thanks for sitting in with me this morning. The only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary. If you are willing to risk the usual, you will have to settle for the ordinary. To Peter Mimo, once again, thanks for joining me this morning on Sunday. And Philly, thank you for joining us on your busy Sunday. You've been listening to the Barry Sable Show with friends, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Have a great week, a healthy week, a safe week, and we will see you, not next weekend yet, Peter. We're going to see you on Wednesday sitting in for Dawn, 10 to 12. Please join us. Thanks for always being there. I appreciate you.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.